That was a rapid changeover. I'm quite pleased with how fast that went. Smart, efficient, sustainable, how AI is revolutionizing the meat industry. And you know what it's like, there's a new tool out there, everybody's eager on how to use it, and our next presentation is about meeting major challenges of the industry concerning the labour shortage, transparent and digital processes, and about exploiting potential savings and reducing costs. And here to walk us through it on how to use AI and gain upper hand is Dr. Danielle Rhen from Foodfair GmbH. Give a very warm welcome.
Okay. So I'm super happy to be here because this is something that's super they say in German, Herzangelegenheit. What we're doing here is we're not only doing new stuff, we're basically revolutionizing the industry. I have nothing less planned. So I'm just going to jump right in. We can talk about me all day, but I have a background in physics. I have over 15 years experience in technical project planning, lots of PhD dissertations. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I got into AI. Jumped right into the slaughterhouse for the first time doing organ assessments on the slaughter line. It was fun, and for whatever reason it matched and I've never left. And I just keep having lots of ideas. How can we make it better? How can we make it more fun? How can we make it more sustainable? And so in 2024, I was trying to integrate one of my solutions and basically realized that SLA and I are like marriage made in heaven, because I want to do AI and they want to do AI, and they're the only people I knew at the time who can fully integrate solutions. Because in the meat industry, it doesn't matter if you can show a cool video, nobody really gives a damn unless that person on the slaughter line sees good results, loves it, and wants to use it. And that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, last year, in around the summertime, SLA had been working with the Austrian Standardized Classification Service for over 20 years. They bring a ton of know-how for everything that can happen regarding classification of meat, specifically beef, or every digital solution from them in Austria is also with our solution. So there's a lot of collaboration there. For about 3 years, we even did research projects and developed a lot of AI stuff. So we decided, if we have such a big plan, why don't we get together and make this thing official? So we have a big commitment since last year. Foodfair is a GmbH in Germany, and we just have a ton of stuff. Let me show you. I don't have hours to chat with you, but if you come to the stand later, I can go into depths. We basically currently have all of these products in slaughterhouses in Germany and Austria. We do not just put up a camera and do one thing. We actually do multi-model, multi-source solutions. We're using sound. We're using cameras. We're also using data that we already have. But today I'm going to focus on cameras because it's something that everybody can understand. And also it's a really nice gateway to get into AI without too much cost, and that everybody understands what's going on. So we're going to go through things that deal with first pork. So we're at the slaughterhouse. I'm going to talk about gender recognition. I'm warning everybody that it's going to get a little snazzy. We're going to look at butts because we're doing gender recognition there, and we're making it really nice with a compatible slaughter number detection right in real time. So really within 7 milliseconds, the result is coming. Then I'm going to show you something about beef classification in Austria, where we're supporting the official staff in really stressful situations. People can be a little inconsistent. We're supporting them, and that's a pilot project I'll show you. And in the end, we're in the deboning. Okay, so we're on a conveyor line, 20, 30 people throwing meat into a box, and sometimes it's hard to find people to do this stuff. It's hard to find people who know where all the meat cuts are. So that solution, also camera-based, but also fully integrated with the scale, with the touch screen, with the database. So that is, all of the solutions we do are supporting traceability, sustainability, because of high quality, and also we're completely supporting people to work there. They have better working conditions, and we don't have to worry about maybe somebody's sick one day and now all operations stop or are much slower. So to get started, Tummel is a slaughterhouse in NRW, so North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany. They're slaughtering about 5,000 to 7,000 pigs 6 days a week. So we have a speed in the band about 500 to 600 pigs per hour. And these pigs have to be assessed. We have to know their gender. We have to know their slaughter number. We have to know what farm they came from. And this is usually taken over by an independent service, but it's very stressful. So the solution that we came up with is a camera, and we even do the solution differently than the human, which is a very important point. Cameras are not there to just do it like the people did. They're there to find a better way to do it. Cameras can go places people can't go. Cameras can see things and find patterns that people don't always see. So here we're looking at butts instead of looking at the stomach. Maybe you don't know this, but the gender makes a big difference even for calculation. Female pigs often are more valuable for farmers because they have a higher concentration of meat versus fat. So we're increasing trust with the farmers that we don't have any mistakes. So they have complete reliable data, they have less effort. This is an assistance system, so it's basically just telling the person what's there. If they don't agree, they can go against it. We've increased the trust with the farmers. They have very accurate summaries of their pigs when they're meat. And in the end, very briefly, I'm going to show you how we look at the size of the testicles on male pigs to contribute to animal welfare. Now, if you're wondering how this happens, I'm super happy to talk about it in the Q&A. You can come to my stand later and I can show lots of pictures. But believe me, everything that we do at Foodfair has some connection to animal welfare, because increased animal welfare is also increased human welfare. It helps the farmers, it helps the slaughterhouses, it helps the consumers. So we can go into any detail. I'm going to show you a video now. It's going to go quite pretty fast, and I can't really pause it. I'm hoping. Here we go. That's the slaughter number. That's the butt camera. Those are the butts. We have the slaughter number camera. It's looking at those slaughter numbers. Here's the slaughter number camera. You see that little cabin? There's a human in there. You've got about 50 centimeters. There's the butts. And that human has to enter data. So right at the end of this video, this is what they usually did. They usually looked at the gender from here. You can't see anything. You could even, now those are the testicles. Now with big testicles, we have an issue with what's called boar taint. So that's a meat odor that not everybody likes. So by finding those, it's helping quality. And here, this guy, look, he's like tapping. He's listening to music. He's totally relaxed. And the data is still good. So for us, this is like a win-win for everybody. Our customer, the slaughterhouse, gets better data. People enjoy their work more. And we can contribute to animal welfare. Now, we have another project at a much bigger slaughterhouse, and there we're looking at the entire body. I don't have time for that today, but I want to show you that we also look at this, the tip of ears. So right here, there's a tip missing. And we have some slaughter artifacts, but we actually differentiate them. So these are some examples. Why does this matter? It's not just because later the dog who's eating the ear would complain because they didn't get a big ear. It's actually because in the earlier part of their life, maybe they had an inflammation or illness and their ear was nibbled, and it's called necrosis. When they nibble it, it's healing in this form, so you can actually find correlations to their earlier life. So this is just animal welfare pure, and added benefit for the slaughterhouse, we can say that your scalding water temperature is just too high. So you're having too much skin peeling, you're using too much energy. So just from one camera and one model, I can contribute to efficiency, energy conservation, animal welfare, full documentation. List goes on and on. At Alpenwind, we're doing beef. Here we have, in German, we call this Hoheitlich. It's actually independent. This is nobody from the slaughterhouse. These are independent services, and they're classifying it according to Europe. So this is how much meat and muscle is there, how much fat is there. And the way this system works is also it's a dual multi-model system. It has multi-cameras, and we look at different things. So first we take pictures, then we look at the slaughter number. In this case, it's not from autofoam, like an automatic thing. It's literally stamped on my hand. It works. Then we classify what we think, or what the model thinks the Europe and fat class should be. Is it a P1? Is it an R3? Meanwhile, the classifier is putting what they think it is. So they're in person, they're walking around, they're looking at the curvature and all the stuff that they have to consider. right before they go to the next cow, on their tablet, we're showing, what do you think? We got this. Do you want to take a pause? So currently this is a pilot project. So whenever you're working with like official data, you can't just go in there. You could potentially do something that the government doesn't allow. So we have an expert testing this as a pilot system. We're in very close talks with the AHA, which is the official place in Austria. So we plan to roll this out sometime in the summer. And in the end, the slaughterhouse has photo documentation of every cow. If there's a retour, if there's a claim, we can show what it was like when it left the company. We have 100% correlation to slaughter number of all the other data in the database. What did the cow eat? How heavy were they? Where were they from? What's their genetics? It's all together with their classification. And we found just in the brief time that this pilot is running that the results from the classifiers are actually more consistent. So we look at how narrow and how wide they are, and this is a huge support. So in the next video, I'm going to show you kind of the slaughterhouse, what it looks like. But I want to recommend, I want to highlight that this transparency is also animal welfare, because when the farmer sees for themselves what it looked like, that's really the only truth with meat. You can look at a pig and think it's happy, but the truth is when it's hanging on the hook. It's the same for beef. And when the farmer gets upset because maybe they have a different classification they expected, they can see for themselves. And also the consistency is making the profession of classification more attractive. So we are looking at sustainability. So now the video, sorry that I forgot there. So here we have our classifiers. They're walking around, they're looking, they're inspecting the meat. So the stamp comes on, we read the stamp. These two small things, now we're in a different environment, so these are plastic. They're running, he's putting his example in, and now with the tablet, we're showing, well, maybe, are you sure? Now they can discuss, they can think about it, they can keep their own opinion, they can change it, but they even see the picture that we saw, so maybe they were distracted, looked over here, missed something. It's on all the terminals, it's on their tablet, and it's saved. So the next thing is, now we're in the deboning. So now we're back to pigs, by the way. So the pigs are already cooled down in the cool house and they're going into the Zerlegung or to the deboning. And here we use slaughter number detection when they're going in, so we know exactly which pig is going into the deboning. And now all the people in the conveyor line are cutting the meat, they're butchers, they're chopping, they're tired, they're throwing it in. Hopefully nothing else goes in but what we want, but sometimes mistakes happen. Piece of a glove, maybe the wrong cut of meat. So what our system does is at the end, you can see the touch screen there, the smart touch, you see the conveyor line. Basically there's a scale, and when the box is entering the scale, we're weighing, we're taking a picture, we're giving a recommendation. So the big picture is at the top monitor, and in the touch screen, now we've already connected it. Like, okay, you have a neck or bacon or something, and this is, do you agree? So in the first phase, for all of these assistant systems, we always work with the customer or work with the user for about 3 to 6 months. And most of the time after 2 weeks, they like, please, just make it automatic. It's so much easier. But we need this stage. We need them to trust us. We need them to trust the technology. And so this is what they experience. They can walk away and deal with an emergency case. Maybe a colleague asked a question, maybe something fell on the floor, and the system goes on. And we can find outliers. So if something did go into the box that wasn't meant to be, it doesn't go further in the packaging. We give them a warning, and they can choose to inspect it, remove it, check whatever they need to do. So each customer is different. Overall, our customer has saved 6-figure digits in this project. So in the end, I will give you a sort of overview of everything because it's quite overwhelming. But let me show you a brief video. So you have the pigs, right? They're coming out of the cooling house. Now all the guys are chopping stuff up and putting it on the conveyor line. She's standing there. Her life is kind of easy. She's confirming that automatically prints a label, and that's it. It's over. Now it's automatically going, maybe with a robot, maybe with just pushing it along. Currently it's installed for over a year in one line. The customer's so convinced they're doing all 3 lines fully automated. So what does that mean economically? It means that the product recognition brings everything together. So now you have full traceability with less effort. Maybe the lady leaves the company, maybe she's sick, maybe you need a new person. The training times are short. We use the system for training, we use the system for operations. So you can overall save 3 people in 2 shifts. We're talking 6-figure savings in efficiency. The people are more relaxed with their work, which also makes them make less mistakes. They're more focused on quality. And in the end, most customers say, please just make it fully autonomous. We want our life to be better. And we're the ones holding back. It's like children at Christmas opening presents. You have to, please, because we have high integrity. When we say that we meet 98.5% or 99.9%, we mean it, and we check the systems. And these are systems that are not just 99.5% on one day. That's over, inference means real life. That's over a year, 6 months. And we're looking at over 500 different products at real time, maybe 5,000 boxes a day. Like I said, in Alpenrind, I think it's 600 cows a day. So these are normal speeds in Germany or in Austria. I'm off. I'm still here. So we have one last video for me to invite you, because again, we don't have so much time. And again, I could be talking about this all day, but really you should experience it live. We didn't put any dead pigs or meat into the boxes. We just have these cute little candies, but this is basically a simplified version. Here we're taking robots. After, you can see that it detected cherries, then it goes here onto our touch screen, then there's a label being printed, the robots are moving around and automatically doing everything. Of course, this can be scaled up with different robots, or you don't have to use a robot, but you should experience it live. And if you'd like to have a coffee or a really tasty ham, you can come to our stand. We are in 1 floor down, over there at B2, and we're here till tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, I can answer a few questions, or we can talk about it at the stand. But I thank you for your attention and your interest, and a great rest of the Iffa.
Open mic for 2 or 3 questions.